his company Wurk. You can find it at enjoywurk.com, specifically helping folks, again, get their, really cannabis focus, right? But cannabis, HR stuff, taxes, making sure they're doing things the right way, measuring things properly, and across 17 different states. They have over 200 companies using them and well over 1,000 actual employees in those companies, up to potentially 10,000 total, doing more than $40,000 per month in revenue, potentially way more. Again, $3 million raised, 18 people, 5 which are sales reps, still figuring out some of these unit economics, but in an exciting, growing space. This is episode 735. Coming up tomorrow morning, I talked to Sunil Thomas, and his mobile analytics company went from 0 to 4 million in 12 months. The question is, what weird thing did they do to make that happen? Tune in to find out. But first, here's today's episode. This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number 1 or number 2 in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per talk.
5 and 6 million.
He is hell-bent on global domination.
We just broke our 100,000 units sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka. Hello, everybody. My guest today is Keegan Peterson. He is a technology entrepreneur blazing a trail in the legal cannabis industry. He's worked for many different software and services company called Wurk, or that's what he's founded, this company called Wurk, which helps cannabis businesses pay their employees while adhering to federal and state regulations. He's also a former Division I athlete from Florida Atlantic University. Keegan, are you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me today.
They hear cannabis and my audience is rolling their eyes. Keep them hooked. Why should they listen to the rest of this interview?
Cannabis is a fascinating industry right now. It's a fascinating experiment, and it's a great place for the technology industry to really play a big part in solving some of these issues. It's federally illegal and it's state legal, and that provides a pretty interesting environment with a lot of challenges, and folks like myself are creating software technologies to help bridge that gap.
Have you smoked this morning yet?
I have not.
I asked that because that's what everyone thinks, right? They think if you're in cannabis, you must eat it for freaking breakfast, which is not true, right? That's why I asked. So tell me real quick, before we get more into the story, I'm curious, have you been able to convince traditional kind of investors to get behind you, or have you self-financed this?
For the longest time, almost a year, I self-financed it, and then we've now raised $3 million of traditional funds from VCs and folks like that. We are an interesting vehicle in the cannabis industry. It's been hard to get traditional investment vehicles to come in. However, our business model is so familiar outside of the cannabis industry that we were that vehicle that made a lot of traditional conservative investors come and take a plunge into this industry. So we've been very fortunate to have some funds and VCs that come on.
And for my grandma that's listening right now that doesn't know what I mean when I say cannabis, I mean, we're talking like weed, basic marijuana, like marijuana. Like what does cannabis include?
So cannabis touching businesses either grow the plant, they sell the plant, or they extract the plant. So they take the plant, put it into a machine that presses it into oil, and then they bake that into cookies or into vaporizers, things like that. So those are businesses that are actually touching the plant, and those are the businesses that we service.
So this is like are marijuana and weed the same thing?
Marijuana, weed, cannabis. Marijuana and weed has had a negative stigma from the past, from the war on drugs. So I think the industry is now focusing on the word cannabis because that still has a positive light in a lot of people's minds.
Okay, how do you make money?
How do we make money? So we sell a service to our clients, and we help them pay their employees, pay their taxes, and they pay a recurring fee by the amount of employees that they have.
Why don't they just go use Intuit for this?
So we take on a lot of the responsibility of making sure their taxes are paid correctly and calculated correctly. Intuit's like a advanced Excel. So we take on that liability for them and make sure that they're doing it correctly. Because
shade Intuit, he's throwing shade. He said we called you an advanced Excel. No, I'm just messing with you. So just to be clear, what I was really asking there, traditional payroll kind of companies, right? HR companies. Gusto, for example, is true or false? It's difficult for them to touch this space because of the PR aspect. You're taking advantage of that and saying that's exactly only what we're going to do.
Yeah, so it's not only the PR aspect, but they're backed by big national banks, and those banks can't touch cannabis cash, and they need those banks to run payroll through. So because of that hurdle, they cannot service this clientele, which leaves a big opportunity. And right now, we're the only national reaching payroll HR technology in this industry.
So is it fair to say, I mean, you think about this like a SaaS company?
Yes.
Okay, got it. And so how many kind of customers do you have on your platform to date?
We have quite a lot. The number that we share is we're in 17 legal cannabis states right now.
Okay, you're in 17 legal cannabis states. Now, are you selling to the states though, or literally will the business owner find you online and sign up?
The business owner. We're selling directly to the business owners.
So give me. It sounds like based off your face, you want to be vague here, which is fine. But give me a big range. Give me a big range. Like, are we talking 10 or 10,000 or 100 or?
We're in the hundreds.
Okay, got it. In the hundreds. So call it, more than 200, but less than 1,000, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then take me back to the story on this, man. So when did you launch the company?
I launched it 2 years ago. A friend of mine owned a dispensary and been dropped by 7 different payroll and HR vendors. Mm-hmm. And this is my background. I've been doing this for 7 years in the traditional big box retail space. And he said, hey, you've got to figure this out for me. I'll bring you a limited number of customers. You just have to find a way to do this. And that's how the business was launched. And we've been doing this now for 2 years.
So this is 2015.
Yes, August 2015.
And then fast forward us to today. So how many folks are on your team?
We've got 18 people. We've got 3 offices, one here in Denver, Indianapolis, Portland, and we're growing into California quickly.
Do you have people on the team that don't smoke cannabis, or is that like a requirement? Yeah. You have to understand and be a user and love the product in order to love our software?
No, it's not a requirement. We're a compliance business, so it's, no one consumes here during the day. No one consumes before work. What people do in their personal time is what they do in their personal time. We don't drug test, but we do look for folks that are advocates and believe in progressing this industry. This is a passion-driven industry. We're a purpose-driven organization, and those are the folks that really enjoy working here.
Yeah, I can't be empathetic with you because I haven't run a business in this space, but I imagine you get caught a lot probably trying to explain that, right? Like, hey, we're not always high all the time. People probably just assume that, right?
What's interesting is our business is developers and sales reps and implementation reps. So we provide a whole different face to this industry, which is now attracting a lot of politicians who are trying to get a full spectrum of the cannabis industry. There's 150,000 employees in the space today that are touching the plant, and then almost double that in the ancillary market like myself. Mm-hmm. So the industry is much bigger than folks think. And we are not the traditional cannabis business. We are a software business. And so it provides a different perspective for a lot of folks.
Yeah. And just to be clear, you're only serving cannabis, right? Or are you serving other highly regulated, new industries?
We have a large portion of our clients are cannabis touching. We do have some that are not, relationships and investor relationships. But we're looking to really service this underserved market.
Okay. And if I'm listening right now in one of these 17 states that you're in and that it's legal to be in and all that jazz, I'm the business owner, right? What am I using right now to do this stuff? Is it literally briefcase full of cash?
Yeah. So most of them are paying their employees in cash. They're trying to use some type of Excel or Intuit to calculate what their taxes are, and then they put their cash in a duffel bag and drive it down to the IRS building.
That is
so funny. It's pretty archaic and it's pretty dangerous, and we're trying to help solve that issue. So states are now bringing us in and asking our opinions on how to fix that problem.
Mm-hmm. And what will the average cannabis business owner pay you per month for these services?
It depends, between $10 and upwards of $30, depending on what services they're choosing. So it really depends on the size of the business and what products they're looking for.
Okay. Can I take an average of those two? Is it fair to say the average is paying you $20 a month?
Yeah, that's fair.
And what's it based off of? Is it number of employees they have or amount of revenue they're doing? What's the value metric you use?
It's number of employees, number of states that they're operating in. We have to pay taxes to all these different states. So those are some of the metrics and how many locations they have.
Got it. And then it's fair to say this is going to be a huge range because you gave me a huge range, which is fine. But you said minimum 200 customers times a minimum $20 ARPU. So you're doing at least $4,000 per month, but potentially as much as $20,000 per month, right? Is that math basically right? That's
yes.
Still a huge range. I'm giving you there's a lot of wiggle room there. So 200 customers would be $4,000 a month. 1,000 customers, which is your higher end, would be a maximum of $20,000 per month. So you're somewhere between that range, right?
We're doing more than $20,000 per month.
Okay, so which one of my numbers are wrong? Because you said you said ARPU's 20 and your maximum number of customers you said was 1,000. So are you above 1,000 customers?
No. So we don't charge per customer. We charge per employee. that's on our platform.
Oh, got it. So you might have a customer is Nathan's Cannabis shop in Colorado, but I've got 10 employees. I'm paying you 10 times $20 a seat, so $200 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we're servicing thousands of employees right now.
I was gonna say that number. I'm like, you must have been diluted like your mother. I mean, if you've raised that much capital on $20,000 a month, you're diluted.
Yeah. We're servicing thousands of employees in the industry.
Okay.
We're in 17 states today. What will blow your mind is that there's 44 legal states that have some form of cannabis in them today. 29 of them have medical and recreational. So
wow,
this is a lot bigger than most people think.
And just to put between 1,000 and 10,000 total seats.
Yes.
Got
correct.
it. Cool. Okay. Very cool. What about things like churn? So like most SaaS companies, this is a critical thing for them. Do you have competition yet in this space?
We don't have a lot of competition. There's some local payroll companies that try to bring on some clients and it doesn't last too long. And then you have your big ADPs and Paychecks who bring on clients because their sales reps sell a deal, but the company doesn't know about it and they end up dropping them. So we've had pretty low churn. I think we've only lost like 2 customers in 2 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. So less than 1% monthly.
Yeah. And it was due to the fact that they no longer needed a service anymore. They're no longer in business. So we've done fairly well with churn and I hope we can keep it there moving forward.
What do you pay to acquire a new customer? What's your CAC?
That's a good question. And we're still trying to get our grip on that. We've got multiple channels of folks that are referring business to us versus sales reps that are selling directly. So I don't really have my hand on that yet, but we're trying to figure that out and really apply the pressure on that.
How many, you have a team of 18. How many of those folks are sales reps?
We've got 5 full-time sales reps and we got a chief revenue officer who manages those. And then the other portion of our business is highly implementation and fulfillment and service.
And do you incentivize those 5 reps like most SaaS companies do? They're on an ARR quota per month?
Exactly.
Got it.
The partially base salary, partial commission base.
Yep. Very, very cool. Well, listen, this is a fun story, Keegan. We'll have to touch base as the industry continues to grow.
Absolutely.
Guys, I get asked all the time, Nathan, you host all these interviews, hundreds of them per month. How do you do them efficiently? And guys, the answer is simple. People always agree to my calendar, back-to-back meetings. I batch my interviews to stay very efficient. And the way that I do it is I use a tool called Acuity Scheduling at nathanlatka.com/schedule. And the reason I use them is very simple. They keep my no-show rate very low because they send out reminders about when the interview or the meeting is coming up. And also, they make it very easy to schedule time, right? I don't have to go back and forth via email 10,000 times with people I'm trying to meet with. Okay, at nathanlatka.com/schedule. Helps me so much. And by the way, look, I have so many meetings. I'm the best at meetings. Okay, I do them back to back, very, very efficient. You guys know me. Many people say I'm the most efficient they've ever seen. Okay, so I use the tool. It's so efficient. And by the way, I got Gavin. I said, Gavin, he's the CEO. I said, I want a great deal for my people. He said, Nathan, well, most people get a 14-day trial. Isn't that great? I said, no. He's given us a 45-day free trial at nathanlatka.com/schedule. That's not going to stay up forever, so go get it now. nathanlatka.com/schedule. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Right now I'm reading Stealing Fire and I am really enjoying it.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Elon Musk.
Number 3, is there a favorite online tool you have, like HostGator?
Right now I've been using Asana.
Yep. Number 5, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Hopefully 5 to 6.
Sorry. Okay, good. That's pretty good, between 5 and 6. Sorry, and last question here. What's your current situation? Married, single, you have kiddos?
Longtime girlfriend, 3 years.
Got it. Okay. No kids yet?
No kids.
All right. And how old are you?
That'd be a tough one. 30.
30. All right. The last question, man. Take us home. Take us back 10 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
My 20-year-old self. I don't know. I work really hard and I don't stop and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So I wish I would have started something a lot earlier in my lifetime because I love coming to work every single day. So I would have told myself to take a plunge a lot sooner.
There you guys.
still have where I am.
There you go. There you guys have it from Keegan. He would have started and jumped into this world faster. Again, building his company Wurk. You can find it at enjoywurk.com, specifically helping folks, again, get their, really cannabis focus, right? But cannabis, HR stuff, taxes, making sure they're doing things the right way, measuring things properly, and across 17 different states. They have over 200 companies using them and well over 1,000 actual employees in those companies, up to potentially 10,000 total, doing more than $40,000 per month in revenue, potentially way more. Again, $3 million raised, 18 people, 5 which are sales reps, still figuring out some of these unit economics, but in an exciting, growing space. Keegan, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you so much, Nathan.
If you enjoyed today's episode, go back and listen to Yesterday's with Ty. He left finance. He's a dad of 3, but now he wants to own your home.